Hey, it's Mark Grogan from Own Your Real Estate here. We are at 1187 Dale Kokeby Road in Kokeby, and we are about to take a big old tour around the house. I'm going to walk you through room by room to see what's going on in there. We're going to explore everything from the layout of the house to the cupboards. I mean, we are getting into serious detail with that part. And then after that, Dirk, the cameraman, and I are about to hit the road. We are going to go for, well, hit the road, hit the track, really. We're going to go for a big old drive around the property, see everything that's on offer. We'll get in and out of the car, go and have a look. I mean, we are pretty much exploring it with you for the first time. There is a lot going on with this one. We are going to see all of that detail. If the video is taking too long, skip ahead at your own pace. This is a long one, so buckle up. Let's go and see what's going on. All right, so we're going to take a walk through the house and see what is going on because, well, you know, whether or not you've been out here and you're just recapping by watching this, or you're working out whether or not you want to come out, I mean, gee, you've probably seen enough other stuff to make you want to be out here. But then the practicalities have to come into it. The ins and outs of how the house is laid out, that's all important as well. So I'm going to take you through room by room and show you what's going on. And as I've been explaining that, I've been showing you this room, which is the lounge. A great space, really nicely positioned. It doesn't necessarily capture it so much when I'm just doing this sort of walk around here on the phone, but you know, that is what you're looking at from outside of your window as I slightly adjust the balance of everything there. It's a pretty spot to be. And then you get down to, you know, get away from the prettiness, Mark. Stop looking at the beauty of the block and show me the rest of the house. All right, stop being the real estate agent and just start showing me the house. We already know it's a good area. Just get to the facts, mate. That is the fireplace. A perfectly positioned fireplace as well, giving real nice warmth and comfort through the house. There's another one of those that we'll see out on the alfresco in a minute. But for now, the main bedroom is positioned here, and we'll come back and see the bedrooms in a minute. I'll show you a bit more living space so you can kind of get your head around all of that. And we have the kitchen. Great kitchen, really, really well set up. And then over on this side is the meals area. So you can prep in that kitchen, have everything here on the bench like a servery, and then boom, straight across to there. And everyone is kind of gathered together around this space and that outdoor entertaining area, which is just awesome. So that kind of gives you the crash course of how the house is laid out. The alfresco, obviously, that's outside. We'll go and see it in a sec. For now, let's go back this way and see the kitchen in some detail. Now, the kitchen has the stone bench tops, the gas stove and electric oven. Nice big 900mm job there. And the range hood. Plenty of bench space. Plenty of room to work with all of that. Loads of storage overhead. Loads of storage with the drawers underneath. And while you've got this kind of breakfast bar arrangement over on this side, you've also got this island bench that is where everyone kind of congregates as well. Very versatile space. Everyone's doing their thing, working on what they're working on, and a nice sized fridge recess over here. Very decent. And the pantry. We have the pantry here. I'll open this cupboard door because, you know, you probably would if you were at the home open, have a sneaky little look. So there you go, pantry. But guess what? More pantry over on this side. A massive walk-in pantry where you've got loads of storage up here, back in there. It's super practical, very, very convenient design. That has been exceptionally well thought through, much like everything else at this property. So that's a cool feature. Now, yeah, let's do some bedrooms. All right, we'll go back to the main bedroom. Main bedroom is on this side. We have heaps of space in here. That's a king size bed. And you've got loads of, it's actually a super king, I believe. A super king size bed. And you could have a super king size and a queen in this room. It's a huge space. You can see all the floor plan and all the details, by the way. If you haven't already, just go to markgrogan.com.au, look through the photo reel in there, and you'll see the floor plan amongst all of that. There's a split system air conditioner up there. And it's all tiled flooring through here, just keeping life simple, keeping life easy, keeping it easy to clean. And the ensuite bathroom, obviously that's tiled. Would be weird to have carpet in the bathroom, although I've seen it. And the floor to ceiling tiles in here. The vanity, the toilet, and the wardrobe. So all of that works exceptionally well. It's super practical. Now, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home. Down this end, we have the other 2 bedrooms. This is bedroom number, I don't know why I started with this one. This one's number 3. That's a queen-size bed, plenty of large furniture all around it as well, and that all fits comfortably. So a very decent-sized bedroom and room for storage along this side as well. Bedroom number 2. Same story with this one, plenty of room. That's a queen-size bed, plus the cot, plus the storage. It all fits well in here. So the meals area, that's a 10-seater table that's there. There's plenty of room for an even bigger one if you need to. Chances are, if you live out here, you'll be having guests quite often. Lots of reasons for people to be coming to see you out here, as we have probably already ascertained with all of the other information you might have received on this property. Or maybe this is where you're starting with your video journey on this particular property, and I guess there's still a whole lot more you can see. We'll go and show you all of that as well. So that's the sort of space we're working with in here. Now we've got to go out and check out this alfresco. So here we have it. Massive space right around here. As you can imagine, huge amounts of time get spent out in this area. Summer and winter, it is a very popular part of the property. In winter, this fire cranked up just keeps it all so toasty. It is really a very comfortable environment through here. In summer, you can open up the windows, get that breeze coming through. And it's all kind of contained like it's, well, I guess an indoor-outdoor kind of living room. Check out these doors too. There's a number of these. I think there's 3 of these around it. Beautiful big Jarrah doors. Very, very cool. Keeping the rustic style of the place. Pool tables out here. Again, nicely protected with all that cover. Pool table's not staying, by the way, but you could put one there and it's nicely protected. Again, and you'll probably notice this with the rest of the video of the tour of the property, fairly windy day out here, but in here, nothing at all, no wind. It's completely protected. Another one of those Jarrah doors. Lot to love about all of this room. This is the inverter for the solar. And that is what's happening out in that amazing alfresco area. So there is plenty to like about what is happening inside, a whole lot to love about what's happening in the outside areas around the home as well. So we'll come back out here, across the front of the home. Beautiful gardens around here as well. You've got a bit of lawn area around the house. There's a bore that, depending on how you're watching this video, you may or may not have seen where that is. Anyway, there's a tank behind the shed that they irrigate from, and the bore pumps to that. And all of this area through here, they keep looking good from this point here, thanks to all that water. So coming back along this way, we have this sheltered area at the front. That's where we were before with the lounge room with the fireplace, and then back into here. Every area you go to, it sort of feels like that's where you'd probably spend a lot of time. And I think that's probably true of all the areas. There's just lots of places to be. We're facing south on this side, and the movement, I guess, as the seasons change, you can shift into wherever you're more comfortable. Ceiling fan out here makes a nice difference as well. Keeps a bit of a breeze going. On the other side of the driveway, that's where the workshops are, and fruit trees, all that kind of jazz. There's your LPG tanks and gas instantaneous hot water system. Good rainwater collection at the back of the house. The house runs entirely from rainwater. There is the bore for the gardens, but the house itself runs off plenty of rainwater. We've got details in the ad itself on the property about how many litres of rainwater there are supplying that. I'll confirm all of that. Can't remember off the top of my head, to be perfectly frank. There's so much information to take in on this one and so much to enjoy. And even with all the information, I go, even if that was all bad information, I still like this property. But it's all good information. You can check it out on there. We'll have more information for you. And out the back, just nice easy care gardens. Power runs across from that side, feeds into the house over here. And that pretty much wraps up the story of what's happening around the house. I will take you this way and just show you some additional parking and shed area. So this is off the back of the alfresco. Where we have another shed. Plenty of sheds, plenty of parking, plenty of access. It is all super practical here. That, of course, is the driveway into the property. And you can make your way in from there. You've probably already worked this out on all the maps, but I'll try and give you as much information as I possibly can. Pretty much the home open experience without being here. That's what I aim for. I mean, I've still got to be here for the home open, obviously. Tell you as much as I can beforehand. Over there, that's where the chook pen is. Good sized chook pen too. And then the beautiful little camping grove, well, big camping grove actually, amongst the pine trees, which we'll go and check out in a minute. For now, that's the house area. We'll go and see the rest of it as we go. Cheers. Well, all right, we are going to go for a bit of a drive around the property. Have a look at this, have a look at that. I'm going to show you anything I think that you probably do want to see, and maybe some stuff that I just want to look at. I don't know. We'll find out as we go. We are recording it as a video that you can watch in whatever format you're watching it in. And I guess the advantage of that is if it gets too boring, you can skip along. I have no idea how long it's going to take. I have no idea what we're going to see specifically. But if it's getting too long and boring, skip along. Otherwise, join us for a bit of a trip around. We've got Dirk here as well. He's on the other side of the camera. G'day, Dirk.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, it's going great. And, well, we've already shot a little bit of stuff today and had a look at a few different things. And
I haven't actually seen any of the property yet, so you can show me around.
Well, that's exactly what we're going to be doing. And of course, the viewers at home, that's you, will be able to see things as well. So I reckon, Dirk, maybe as much as, you know, this is a real estate video, so it's generally speaking about, you know, the real estate agent getting his face on the camera as much as he possibly can.
The important stuff.
Oh,
yep.
All the important stuff. Let's go out the window and I'll just talk about stuff we see as we go. So sure. We're heading in the direction, we're behind the house now, heading in the direction of the back corner up the top of the block. We'll go for a drive up there and have a look. The view from there is awesome. We'll jump out of the car and have a bit of a squiz as well. This is one of the dams. There's 2 dams on the property, and look at that. We've got the ducks. So this dam will fill, according to the owners, normally by around July we'll have this dam full. And we are early July at the moment, so that will be increasing in the coming weeks as the real rain sets in.
Oh, and there go the
oh,
ducks.
look at that. That would have been a great shot.
Yeah,
Ah.
I got it
You got it. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
on the phone.
Oh, excellent. Dirk does the rest of the video work for context if anyone else is watching this. If not, it could just be, historical video of the time Dirk and I went to Kokeby and had a good fun day driving around. A little bit later, we're possibly going to be, of course, with the owner's permission. And both of us are registered firearm owners. So we will possibly be shooting some stuff. So if you see any of the footage of that where targets are actually hit, that's probably Dirk's shots. Good at shooting videos, good at shooting guns. Mark Grogan, good at real estate, not so much as a shooter. But I don't hit anything I'm not supposed to, so that's a positive. All right, we're going to cruise up to the top of the block now. The property is surrounded by olive trees. You're going to see a lot of olive trees around. That is a commercial olive grove. There's a production facility. I don't know what the number of trees are, substantial enough to class it as a commercial production facility. There are thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands, you get the drill, of olive trees. And
Something like 2,000 acres or something?
yeah, something like that. Apparently it is about 2,000 acres of olive trees. This is a little over 123 acres of croppable land. And this side of the property, there's around, I think it's 72 acres, 73 acres. On the other side of the road is 50. And it's all on one title. The 50 acres, and over here as well, they are regularly leasing to a farmer locally. He seeds it and he crops it, and he does the weed management and all that kind of jazz as well. So we'll pass on details to whoever buys this to be able to continue that, because it's a really good arrangement. He's a very good farmer and is, I guess, taking very good care of the property in the process. So that's a real positive, having that in place. Dirk, if you have a look at that side, I think we're recording on, maybe give it a, we're at 0.5. I reckon go to 1 there. There we go. That's probably going to get it. Oh,
You can see the actual property there.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So down to those pine trees that we'll see in a minute, it is all part of what we've got on offer. There's a cool little camp spot down, I say little, it's a big camp spot, down amongst those trees, and we'll go and see that as we head across to the other side of the property.
Yeah, beautiful.
Pretty exciting spot.
And hopefully that rain is going the other way.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, it was actually meant to rain all day, but we've been pretty lucky, so...
We have, and the drone guy just finished up a little while ago, and we managed to avoid the bad weather for him as well. So that is a good sign. The olive trees, more olive trees, olives, everywhere there's olives. Good thing, the olive. You've got the oil, you've got, so many versatile uses for the olive.
I think she said most of these are actually for oil, yeah.
Yeah, I believe that's what they're producing from that spot. I'll just back up a little bit. And, sorry Dirk, I touched your leg when going into reverse there. And I hope that isn't in any way, I hope that doesn't go viral. Okay, so this paddock here, this is pretty much where the sheep kind of roam around. Nice little driving range that they've set up from here as well. That's kind of their spot. Fire them out into the pine trees there. Citrus grove over here. Dirk, I don't want to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to put on a hat, right? And it's not because I think I'm the rural real estate agent. I'm putting it on because it's blowing my hair around, but I also want to leave the window down so you can get those shots.
Yeah.
It's more for practicality than anything, but I hope I look the part.
You do, yeah. Absolutely.
I feel like I want to look the part 24/7, to be perfectly frank. It is the place to be. So, veggie garden back here. This is behind the shed. We're swinging back around here. Oh, by the way, these two water tanks. There's that one there, 125,000 litres. The other side of it, 125,000 litres as well. So plenty of space there. Now, we have the machinery shed on this side.
Yeah, cool. And then what's in here? What's in this place?
They're just keeping other mowers and other machinery in there. plus a workshop on this side.
Yep. Undercover
A bit more
parking.
undercover parking just near the house, which is right here, if that's given you some context as to what we're seeing and where we've been.
Front yard there.
All right, now before we head across to the other side of the block, which we will do, and for the viewers at home, I really do hope that you're skipping along some of the more boring parts of us just driving around without much to say, but there's so much to see. I wanted you to see it all. You can put it on mute as well. You do have that control. We also have a few olive trees on this property. Next door is really where the majority of olive trees are in this area, but there's a few here just for fun. This is the back of the chook pen, and actually we'll get out here. You can stay in the car, Dirk, if you like. I'll just walk over here because it's going to be easier because I'm on this side. And I could hit pause, but what's the point? All right, so back over here. He can get out of the car if he wants to, by the way. It wasn't like an instruction. Over here, heaps of space. They've had, I think, like over 100 chickens here at one stage just walking around. They had quite the production going on with all of this. So, as you can see, all of that is covered. Safe from the foxes. And a few sheep over there as well. I'm going to walk around and see the sheep, Dirk. Just give me a sec. Gives you a little bit more context as to what's going on around the place. All right, so chook pen, chook pen, chook pen. And these are the two sheep. Now, if you want them, which we hope you do, and on the condition that you promise that they will not end up in the freezer, then the owner is open to the idea of leaving them, unless there's been other arrangements made by the time we sell. Hello, gorgeous. Yes, 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 yes. All right, so that is all theirs, right up to the fence line. We'll go and get some more visibility on that fence line. We're 9 minutes in, plus that big long walkthrough of the house. I don't know how much of this you really need to see. But I guess at the home open, like if you come out here to do the inspection, it's kind of a quick look around. Maybe this gives you a little bit of a reference point later on or beforehand to work out whether or not it's worth coming out here. I can just say it's worth coming out here. I mean, I hope you buy it, but even if you don't, it's worth the day. There we go.
All right,
Dirk's back.
To the professionals.
Back to the professional. We've got a rainbow. Can you capture that? Does that show up?
It does, yeah. Got it there.
I didn't even pay for that to be put up. It's just happened naturally. All right, let's go and have a look down in their favourite bit, and this is their campsite. Around these pine trees is where they have their yearly bonfire, and it is a heck of a bonfire too. Check this out. This is where they go. So all of these trees were planted apparently around sometime in the 90s, and the bloke who did it was going to sell them as Christmas trees, but my dad's threat that Christmas was cancelled may have actually come to pass, because they got a lot bigger than your average Christmas tree, and Christmas indeed was cancelled. It is quite the claim to do the lights in the current format. We'll maybe get out and go for we'll go for a wander. We'll go for a bit of a wander around here, because this is where life has been such a fun thing for this family. So big bonfire area here. This is where they did all that. They actually burnt it only a couple of weeks ago. I was hoping we could have got it in the video, but it's just because I wanted to come to their party. Anyway, we'll go and have a look at all of this setup, and I'll take you down to where the boar is, and then we'll go for a drive over onto the other side. So you've got heaps and heaps of pine trees here. They have, over the years, this was like densely packed with pine trees when they got here. They couldn't do anything with it. You couldn't even get through here on a quad. It was, you can see how closely they're planted together.
So what's the total acreage here again?
It's 123.9 for the full property.
Yeah.
And this side is approximately 73.
Yeah, nice.
That's include all of this up to the olives over on the other side. So we're pretty much over on the fence line there, just through the other side of those trees,
Yeah.
and then way over that way as well. We'll take a drive over there in a minute.
Yeah, beauty.
But yeah, this huge area, that'll bring their caravans in here. Some set the tents up, and yeah, just good fun family times. So that is the big question that they've all had as well, is where are we going to do that now? Because it's just been such an important part of their family history. So I don't know, maybe you could rent it to them for that. But I think it will be a big part of whoever buys its family history as well. It's where memories get made. And I guess that's the whole point of coming out here. You might come out here with some other plans, but memories can get made out on a property like this. It's the beauty of it. Here is the bore. And I guess memories can get made. But, you know, things have to happen. And having bore water makes a huge difference. So the compressor for that is up at the shed. They can flick that on. That all comes down here. Then that starts pumping water back up to the tank that's behind the shed near the veggie gardens there. So the bore is down here. In terms of flow rates and stuff like that, I don't have that information exactly to hand. We'll try and get a little bit more information out of the owners. We've got some rain. It's not a major problem for me. Dirk's obviously not happy about it. He's signaling to me that he wants to go back to the car. But before we do that, is...
Oh, it should be all right.
we'll be fine. We'll be fine. This hat doesn't get out much, I'll be honest with you, so I don't mind it getting a little bit, you know, mucked up. This is an old well, and apparently this is like 80 years old. So this is here. It's a bit of a danger zone, as is where is on all of this sort of stuff, but this is a well. I don't know how deep it is. I don't have any real information on that, but it's covered over. Yeah, it's a fair way down. It would hurt. But there's water in it, so it would splash. And that is, should we check it? There's not a rock on this side of the block. That's pretty good. Here we go. What do we got? Something? Nothing? We'll leave it. You can work it out for yourself. But there is a well there. And obviously the bore is there. This is the bit where the water goes. Loads of space over here for kicking a footy and all of that during the family camp times. And I do believe that this area, they were cropping as well. So I can confirm that though, if you need me to. All right. There's a couple of, even the dead trees are nice here. Dead tree over there, that's a gorgeous dead tree. All kinds of birds and stuff will be making their afternoons, like that's our go-to spot. And it's very pretty looking through here with all the pine trees too. Less mark, more trees, I reckon. If you can find a gap through them too. Okay.
And look, the butterflies are out again.
Oh, she told me about this. Yes. So the owner was telling me before that there was just an absolute, I don't know what the word is.
Invasion.
Well, not an invasion, because that makes it sound, you've got to be very careful with that word.
Yeah.
We've got, there's a lot of butterflies.
Yeah.
They like this area here with the pine trees. And this was like some big, well, they had their campsite here. So obviously the family comes here. The monarchs came here afterwards, and there were just thousands and thousands and thousands of them. Again, would have been good to capture. There's just a couple of little loners that are hanging around at the moment. Every family has a few of those. We've got a couple in ours. I think it might actually be me. But yes, there's a few of those around. All right, we'll head over to the other side of the block and see what's going on. Left the window down, that was a good idea.
All right, so where are we heading now?
So we will head back the other way. Let's look out this side and capture what's going on over there. I'm going this way because, as you can see looking at here, another one of those beautiful dead trees, a whole lot of firewood. but just, it's pretty. And you've got very few rocks in these paddocks. It's all been cleaned up nicely over the years.
Yeah, it's pretty flat.
It is. It is. All of this is too. All right, we're going to head up the other side, back down the drive, and head over to the other side of the block, to the 50 acres. Oh, I'll show you this quick, out this side. So this is the house, by the way. Seeing it from this angle, we have got the full walk-through tour of the house that you can watch at your own leisure, if that's what you do for leisure. And up here we have another shed. So there's parking on this side, parking over on the other side near the sheds as well, with plenty of room to get your gear. Just another one of the many, many accessible elements of this very good block. Obviously that dam is over there.
Yeah.
So we're seeing that
that's
from the other
one
side.
we saw from
Yep,
over there.
and those power lines obviously running back into this property too.
Yeah.
If you watch the house walkthrough video, that shows you a little bit more of where all of that goes. I might just do, if you go out the window, I might just do a quick run up this way, and we can try and capture it straight ahead so you can see all the way out this block. One thing that's very important, that is probably more important than seeing the real estate agent talking, is the fences. And the fences are in great nick all the way around. Good fences. There's only one little bit that got knocked over by roos, and it wasn't even knocked over, they just sort of hip and shouldered it pretty much. And that's in that top corner where we were before. And we were banging on, I think, is probably the expression that my kids use when talking about me talking about things. Banging on about the view. They imply that on a fair few things, actually. Banging on about the view, banging on about your hat, banging on about the pine trees. But we'll be banging on a little bit later with the guns when we get those out, because we're here and we should. And, well, it's kind of the reason you come out here, isn't it? Like, it's just for... It's the lifestyle of all of this. Somebody else takes care of cropping it. You make a few $1,000 off of that. Pretty much pays the rates for them with the way that they're doing it currently. And the farmer who's been leasing it, I think the last time it was $6,600 a year, or for the year, and that pays the rates. Can't complain about that. And still pretty good fences around here. As I said, a couple of little sections where it's like not perfect, but not easily jumpable. And you know, if the roos start giving you a hard time, there is a little solution, apparently, for dealing with that. And that is to put up signs along the fence line saying, fences are expensive, please take care in this area. And they're very respectful animals, they are. So they'll take care of that. They'll generally, when they have their daily meeting, they'll be like, guys, the new owners of Kokeby are a little bit miffed about the way we've been treating their fences, so let's just give them a wide berth. So think about country people and country kangaroos. Everyone's just a little bit more friendly out here. All right, we're back up the top. You might want to skip along because I'm going back down the long way. You've already been here. But as a kid, like, this was I used to just dream of driving around blocks. And now this is my job today. I'm wearing a hat, but I have no right to wear this hat because I'm not a farmer. But you don't have to be a farmer to wear a wide brim hat, but it's not very real estate agency either. And I don't have the elders pink shirt. So we'll scoot back down this way. But it's the dream. It's the dream for a lot of kids. Even though I'm banging on, as my kids would say, I'll be kind of hoping they don't watch this video, because this is their dream too. And then they'll be on about me making the move out here. And I'm really, as much as I'd love to, it's not a feasible thing for us right now with the real estate market being what it is. We've got to be based in Perth. We've got to be based in Perth. You don't have to be. I'm running around all day, every day. If you were FIFO, this is an easy place to live. Even if you weren't working every single day in Perth and you got to work from home occasionally, it's a great place to be. My office is in Kelmscott. We came from Kelmscott to here, and it was a
Just about an hour.
Just on an hour. I mean, and if you've seen the other video, that included those bits where we're doing like the little drive around parts. I mean, because obviously there wasn't just a camera there. We stopped to do that. That's, you know, going behind the fourth wall here. Is that the expression? Breaking the wall?
Yeah, that's it.
Anyway, 50 acres, Dirk. This is what we're looking at.
That is huge.
That is real dirt, Dirk.
Yeah.
Let's go see it. Let's turn left. We're going to go this way. So, really good fire breaks all the way around.
There's a lot of those ducks just hanging out.
There
Must be more water around here somewhere.
Should we drive over there?
Let's have a look.
I think we can. Let's go and see what is going on over here. Oh, look at them.
And they're off.
I did approach a bit aggressively, didn't I? They're not scared of a real estate agent. They've just landed over there. They were just giving us a bit of space. In terms of soil qualities, I don't have answers to all of those kinds of questions. But I do know that, and this is secondhand information, but I believe that the farmer who normally does crop this was disappointed not to be able to this year because it is very productive, supposedly. So that is, again, secondhand information. It's not really a soil test. I can't speak exactly to that. Like I say, I own the hat, but the science is only a little bit.
And what's this? This is a... Oh, yeah. I thought it might have been a stream or something.
No, that would be... Oh, well, we'll call it a winter creek. I believe it's part of the drainage running through there. Speaking of that, though, we're going to get around to the other side, and there's another dam over there, and that fills predominantly from the runoff on this side. So we'll see that as we go.
Yeah, cool.
And if you look out this side as we go around the corner, it's not your property, but the neighbour, who is apparently a top bloke. I don't know him, but I would like to get to meet him at some stage, and that's his property.
That's a lot of sheep.
That's a whole lot of sheep, and that's a whole lot of glass. Look at these cockies. Oh.
Jeez, that's a lot of... My God.
There's a lot going on there. Look at them go! Look at them go!
Oh,
Racing cockies.
there's like 200 there at least, yeah. All right, and they're all back in the tree.
That's their spot. That's their spot. Ah,
That's mental.
it's a pretty part of the world. If you don't need to be in Perth, why the heck would you need to be in Perth? Or why would you be there? There's lots of reasons to maybe need to be there, but you can probably make a lot of those work from here. A lot of it's online these days. And they do have the line out here that gets you online. You have still got good internet, all that kind of stuff. You can do stuff from home out here. It's not that far away. All right, Dirk, we are going to head up here and head around. See what is going on. Some beautiful stuff out this side. This is gorgeous. Look at this as we crest this little hill here.
Yeah, the terrain certainly changes a bit once you... Then you've got the kind of tree line there.
Yeah, yeah. That's good. Here's... Notice there's quite a few 28s out here, Dirk. That's interesting, isn't it?
Lots of different birds. More sheep here.
I mean, I'll stop and look at them. Oh. Shy sheep.
Yeah, look at them. Hang on. Very cautious. Very interested. All right, let's keep going.
Let's go. It could just be us at this stage, Dirk. I don't know if anyone's joined us or still here with us at this point in time. But anyway, so up in this corner, and we're going to come up here a little bit later, have a little bit of a fire. And speaking of a little bit of a fire, there's a lots of places to have a little bit of a fire around here, and a whole lot of wood up here.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That you can burn just years and years and years worth of firewood up here. So, yeah, all of that through there is just trailer load after trailer load. Let's put it this way, they've never had any delivered out here.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, let's just get out and have a look at that for a sec, will you? That's what it's all about. That is what it's all about.
Wide open spaces.
Wide open spaces, man. That is just beautiful. And like not an insanely hard thing for you to look after too, because you've got the farmer who wants to do it and will pay you to be able to do it here. And the rest of the time you just got the lifestyle. Look how beautiful that is. That is just fantastic. Looking across to the other side there, the views here are quite something. Yeah. You know what? Listen to this. I'm going to just turn my car off because this is what it's really all about. When the real estate agent shuts up,
Capture that serenity.
capture that serenity. Here, directional mic. Listen to that. Special. Can you hear those clouds?
I can't hear them, no.
Oh, they sound so much better than suburbia. That's awesome. All right, and even across there, that's just stunning. On the other side of that, that is apparently Parks and Wildlife that have that. I'll confirm exactly how that structure works. Well, it's got nothing to do with you, really. Ultimately, it's doesn't
So
impact
from the
you
fence
here.
line there.
From the other side of the fence line,
Yeah.
that is all looked after essentially as state forest, regional. Well, it's not regional park; it'll be state forest of some sort. Anyway, it's Department of Parks and Wildlife. That's their bit. It's all out that way. So you've got the one neighbour on that side, and if I'm not mistaken, I could be because it occasionally happens. That's why this video here is just me telling you what I think. On that side, I believe it's the same owner as Good Bloke over on that side. If not, equally good bloke, because they did talk about good relationships all around. Over here, I'm not going to show you, piece by piece with the firewood, but there's a lot of it. There's even nice rocks.
Very nice.
That's cool. Again, who knows if they're still with us, but if they are, we'll go for a drive this way. I do these video walkthroughs on every property.
This is a video drive.
This is a drive. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, this is a property drive round, walk through, talk through, listen to. Actually, I think we've covered almost all the senses on this one. Can't smell it, but it smells better than suburbia. I'll say that. So the boundary just on the other side of all of those trees still. This little pocket here is where we'll have a little fire a little bit later.
Oh, beautiful.
This is kind of one of their spots where they have spent a lot of time over on this side of the road. They've got the campsite over on the other side. Fun place to live, man. Fun. But also, allows you to be serious. If you've got to go and do a job, well, you can go and do your job. Even moving to the southwest, right? There's a lot of beautiful spots in the southwest. But
yeah, this is only an hour away, so it's...
And price-wise, absolutely just, you can't compare the two. The cost of doing anything down there, for something like this, what are we talking? Down there, 5 million?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is an attainable and manageable expense. Because I mean, obviously, with a lot of those properties, if you purchase those, you will spend your life slaving away to keep it. Here, you've got someone who's paying you to be able to crop it, and then you've got some. Hey, hello. A lot of birds around.
Yeah.
We won't shoot anything that's not a declared pest. Just want to clarify that. In case there's anyone out there, I know what the internet's like. People have opinions, a lot of them, not necessarily grounded in any facts. And unless, you know, realistically, unless...
Oh, ducks.
Again, not a pest, and not something that would be shot. Definitely not. Look at them, they're beautiful.
Another little dam. Yeah, cool.
That is so, they're amazing. And this dam here, I'll, you know, for the sake of camera work, reverse. Is collecting from the runoff up on this side. So it's actually, that dam is pretty much in line with, you know, the well we were looking at before? That's it right there. So there's the bore.
All right, that gives you an idea of kind of the layout.
Yeah.
So we were standing there. That's the pine forest, and then over to there.
Oh.
Yeah, beauty.
Context. Hopefully that's given you some. All right, that's pretty much completed the drive round, I reckon, Dirk. I think we've caught everything we need to catch. And, you know, just for the record, because I know how those YouTube comments get, obviously only anything that would be a declared pest. A fox. Pretty much just a fox. Rabbits are declared pests, of course, but they are... I'm a soft-hearted guy, right? I'm not going to go and shoot a rabbit. I would only shoot things that eat them, like foxes. All right, that's pretty much the run of it. Looking back this way, Dirk, I'll just let people see kind of what's going on around it. Obviously, as I mentioned before, it's on two sides of the road. So we've got that side. That side. We've just come from the 50 acres, and we're heading back now onto the 70 odd. There's the house in all its glory at the end of the driveway. Very welcoming. I'm going to go and have a coffee with Kylie. Dirk, you can have one too, obviously. We'll have a coffee, and then we'll go and do a little bit more filming around the other side of the block. Not with this, for the ad video, right? That's how it's all pieced together. It's quite, you know, behind the fourth wall kind of situation here. Breaking the fourth wall? I must look that up at some stage. For now, we're back, and we'll catch up with you soon. Thanks for the drive around. Cheers.